and welcome to CATSweek. I'm Annalise Poorman. At their meeting on September 9th, the Ellettsville Plan Commission heard two requests. Planning Director Denise Line introduced the first item, a preliminary plat approval for 45 single-family lots in Prominence Fields, located at North Loudon Road and West Upland Drive. Line said that staff recommends its conditional approval.
The applicant is requesting approval for a total of 45 lots with 44 single-family buildable lots and one non-buildable lot totaling 29.24 acres. The lots are zoned R1 single-family residential and will be built with single-family homes. Subdivision will be accessed from West Upland Drive. The Tech Review Committee met on August 15th at Town Hall. Comments received are in your packet, and all items have been addressed. The Plan Commission action on a preliminary plat can be in the form of approval, approval with conditions, denial, or to continue the hearing. You have the final say in these matters. All legal notices have been published and mailed. The Plan Commission, if you'll recall at your July 6th meeting, approved a preliminary plat for 5 lots. Lot 77 of that plat has now become Prominence Fields. Final plat has been signed for the approval July 6th, but not yet recorded. After the tech review and prior to preparing the Plan Commission's packet, the engineer took an additional survey and an updated topo. They discovered a closed contour in a depressed area, which is indicative of a sinkhole. Due to this finding, the engineer provided an updated site plan, which reduced it to the 45 lots. For the Plan Commission, the utilities and stormwater plans need amended, but there was not sufficient time to get the engineering completed before the Plan Commission meeting. I suggested we move forward with the preliminary plat petition and would request a conditional approval to allow time for engineering to be completed and then reviewed by utilities and a town engineer. And staff recommends a conditional approval.
Commissioner Sandra Hash asked where the sinkhole had been found. A.J. Willis, the petitioner's engineer from Bynum, Faneuil and Associates, responded.
The sinkhole that we found is located on lot 37. It's just west of the furthest north cul-de-sac.
Hash followed up, asking if the Department of Natural Resources would look at the sinkhole. Willis responded.
You can choose to do a karst study to the site. That's if, one, there's a lot of karst features on the site and you're trying to avoid them, or if you're concerned that something is or isn't. Typically, the conservative approach is anytime there's a closed contour, you just treat it as a sinkhole.
Next, the petitioner, Value Built Construction co-owner Ernest G, explained their plans for the plats.
Co-own Value Built Construction. We developed Prominence Place, phases 1 through 3. We're intending to do essentially the same thing that we did in Prominence Place, just build, hopefully, affordable single-family homes.
Commission President David Drake spoke in favor of the request.
I mean, I think personally this is pretty much a no-brainer. I mean, we're just continuing this same development. He's got a really good plan with plenty of exits. And the development they've done previously and that's still undergoing construction has worked out just fine.
The Commission unanimously voted to approve the plat request. Next, the Commission heard a request for a zoning map amendment. The petitioner, Chris Smith, asked the Commission to change 115 acres located at 7633 West State Road 46 from Agricultural 2, Suburban Agricultural, to Commercial 3, General Business. Line explained the request.
The property is bordered by Commercial 3 and Industrial 1 to the north, Agricultural 2 to the south, Agricultural/Rural Reserve, Monroe County jurisdiction to the west, and a planned unit development in Residential 1 to the east. The Ellettsville Comprehensive Plan adopted on July 24, 2023, designates the land between the Plan Unit Development and Residential 1 zoning and the Monroe County Agricultural Rural Reserve to be a mixed-use village center. The primary use of a mixed-use village center is a horizontal or vertical mix of uses, ranging from residential, small-scale commercial, and institutional uses such as parks, schools, religious facilities. There's analysis of required findings. Number one's the comprehensive plan. Staff finds the land use, oh, sorry. I always forget I can't do this and talk. So staff finds the land use map in the Ellisville Comprehensive Plan designates the area of the subject parcel along the State Road 46 corridor. West of Lytton State subdivision has a mixed-use village center. The rezoning will bring this property into agreement with the Ellisville Comprehensive Plan.
Line shared the staff's recommendation on the rezone request.
Staff finds as stated in the Ellisville Comprehensive Plan, this section of Ellisville is best suited for a mixed-use village center. At this time, the Commercial 3 zoning district in the current Ellisville Town Code is the best zoning to accommodate a mixed-use village center as outlined in the comprehensive plan. A mixed-use village center brings a conscientious and intentional design process that will cultivate responsible development and growth of the property.
Then petitioner Chris Smith addressed the commission.
Harmon Farm came my way, and I assumed I was going to have to do a traditional, conventional subdivision there. I met with Denise immediately and was given the Envision Ellisville plan. The comprehensive plan wasn't codified yet, so I started reading that, got excited. Comprehensive plan gets approved, and I got really excited. This is an amazing opportunity, and I'm just ecstatic that Ellisville and the citizens of Ellisville are doing this, or taking this approach to a much better way to develop land than a conventional neighborhood. So I'm really excited about that. This plan evolved out of the comprehensive plan. We're here asking for C3 zone because it's the best way to marry the two. You guys are going through a new UDO process. That might come out before or after we start. It might impact this in some way, hopefully in a better way to make it even a better project. But that's yet to be seen. So right now our goal is to marry the UDO and the comprehensive plan and to come up with a great village center and residential area to really, really help out Bloomington.
The commission voted unanimously to pass along a positive recommendation to the town council for the zoning amendment under the condition that the petitioner agree to landscape buffers. The Monroe County Election Board met on September 8th. First County Clerk Nicole Brown gave an update on the budget and polling sites.
I have provided each of you with a copy of the election budget that I have requested of the council this year for your review. They would like at least one election board member to participate in whether virtually or in person, and so I look forward to seeing you this evening. And because of the budget hearings, I will be making a motion to recess rather than adjourn so that we can reconvene this evening at 5 o'clock. Also, I provided to each board member I appeared before the commissioners and got the 25 polling sites that will be used in the municipal election approved and signed by the commissioners. And so the original will go back to Election Central for filing, and I have provided each of you with a copy of the signed approval for the polling sites.
Monroe County Election Supervisor Ryan Herndon gave updates from Election Central.
First is the status of the ballot. We actually approved and sent that to Hart this morning to go ahead and get the V drives sent to us. Secondly, the tentative date for the public review of the ballots will be September 13th, basically from 9 a.m. To 3 p.m. The tentative date to do our test for the machines will be the 19th at 9:30. I've been working very closely with Bob White. And then also, as far as the ballots go, we will start to mail out the ballots on September 22nd. As far as the updates on the absentee voting, I've met with with the 4 leads. They all have a work schedule for each shift, and just a reminder, early voting begins on Wednesday, October 11th. Now, circling back here real quick, you guys do have the sheet in front of you with the Verity scan device numbers. Those, if you see the top 3 there, you've got Highland Village, Minford, and Arlington. Those are the 3 machines that were randomly selected by VStop for us to do the ballot testing. Okay. Now, update on the actual poll locations. Out of the 25, 19 of the sites have been verified. 6 of them we have not heard from. We've been calling, emailing, etc., without any avail.
Herndon then asked the board whether they would provide extensions to any polling locations that have not responded in a timely manner. Board member Nicole Brown suggested that the board should follow up with those potential polling locations in person.
Bloomington High School South,
Correct.
Eastview Church of the Nazarene,
Correct.
Fairview Elementary School,
Correct.
Smithville Christian Church,
Correct.
Tri-North Middle School,
Correct.
and University Elementary School.
Correct.
So if anyone has contacts to any of those 6 locations that they could share with us at Election Central, that might help us to get a more definitive answer quickly.
That'd be fantastic.
And I could go out, I'm volunteering to go out to the Eastview Church of the Nazarene because
Okay.
that's on the side of town that I live on.
Okay.
Fairview's not very far from us, so when school's in session, I think we could probably knock that one out pretty quickly. They've been a long-standing polling site,
Right.
so I don't know why there would be an issue in this instance.
Yeah, not sure, but like I said, we've been, very vigilant on calling and emailing, and you just let me know as well if I need to, go out and knock on some doors as well.
But if you could knock on Fairview doors, I also have a contact at Bloomington High School South that might
Okay.
be able to give me a name, so I will volunteer
Okay.
for the Bloomington High School South and the Eastview Church of the Nazarene to get us a quick response on that, which leaves 4 more to
It's
divvy up.
4 more, yeah. I can do, I can definitely do Tri-North. I'll take care of the rest of them.
You can
Yeah,
take care of the
not a
rest.
problem.
Next, Brown gave updates on the fall 2023 general election.
I reached out to both party chairs regarding the approval of our recruiters. So we continue to be very fortunate to have Orion Saft and Pamela Samples as the Democrat and Republican recruiters. So if you worked for us in the past, they will be contacting you again in hopes that you will consider serving. If you have not worked for us in the past but are interested in working as a poll worker, please do call Election Central and we will connect you with Orion and Pamela. And we're incredibly grateful. They work very, very hard to make sure that we have not only people ready to go to the polls, but backup people who, because inevitably some poll workers will call in at the 11th hour due to emergency or illness. And so we need some backup people as well, ready to step in to that role.
The next election board meeting will be held on October 5th. During their September 6th meeting, the Bloomington City Council heard a resolution to increase the salary of the city clerk in the 2024 budget. City Clerk Nicole Bolden presented the resolution.
Resolution 2316, calling for an increase to the salary of the city clerk in the 2024 budget. The synopsis is as follows. This resolution is sponsored by Councilmember Flaherty. It expresses the Common Council's intent to increase the salary for the city clerk. In that regard, the resolution requests that the mayor pursue any necessary and appropriate action to effectuate the increase as part of the 2024 city budget.
Councilmember Matt Flaherty commented on the resolution, saying he supported the initiative. He clarified that the resolution would only indicate the council's intent and would not be a binding piece of legislation.
I will note that as the whereas clauses specify, we of course do have the statutory duty and ability to fix the salaries, fix the annual compensation for elected city officers, including the city clerk. but recognizing that that also requires appropriations to back fixed salaries. I think the more appropriate way to pursue this was to have a formal expression of the council's intent and request to the mayor with respect to changes that would be needed to the salary ordinance, the relevant salary ordinance and appropriation ordinance to effectuate this change. We just went through budget hearings, that was last week, and heard from the city clerk about her office and department and her role at that time, noting that the clerk's office functions very similarly to what we would call city departments in the civil city budget, those that are under the purview of the mayor's administration. My feeling is that both the city council office and the clerk's office are in fact independent departments, and that we should be thinking about the folks who head those departments as department heads. That's acknowledged in the whereas clauses here. And essentially, along with other changes that were already incorporated into the budget with respect to the council office, this seeks to address what I feel is an inequity with respect to how we've compensated these positions historically, and bring us to a level more in line with department heads. So the number that is requested within the resolution as drafted is $104,089, which matches the step that we had also requested, or individual members had requested of the mayor with respect to the council office. Again, people might think about those offices differently. For me, the dispositive data point or question was respect to whether or not we should think of these offices as departments or not. I know that the council memo also attached some salaries from clerks' offices around the state, but I would just reiterate that my perspective is that there are systematic ways in which we've undervalued the position and not considered it appropriately, and so I consider the benchmarking value of those to be minimal, personally, which is what led me to request the amount that the resolution has.
Then, Councilmember Dave Rollo presented an amendment to decrease the proposed salary to $87,000 per year.
Yes, the amendment is composed of the following. The second whereas clause in Resolution 2316 shall be deleted in its entirety. The third whereas clause in Resolution 2316 shall be amended by deleting the words "and with a supervisory role parallel to that of numerous peer department heads and staff members overseeing the legal department, human resources department, and council office." The third portion of the amendment is that the fourth whereas clause in Resolution 2316 shall be amended by deleting the words, quote, "is not commensurate with that of other department heads within the city," and number four, the last whereas clause in Resolution 2316 shall be amended by replacing the amount of $104,089 with the amount of $87,000. And Resolution 2316, Section 1 shall be amended by replacing the amount of $104,089 with the amount of $87,000.
Rollo said he shares Flaherty's perspective to a degree, but he outlined the ways in which he believes the initiative falls short.
Let me first say that I have points of agreement with Councilmember Flaherty, and I appreciate his presenting this resolution. The points of agreement I have is that I believe we should express our intention that points out a deficiency here in salary. And my second point is that I agree with that the clerk's position salary should be adjusted. How I differ and what the amendment addresses is that Councilmember Flaherty determines that the clerk's office is equivalent to an administrative department head. And I explored that proposition of that equivalency, and I don't agree for the following reasons. It is an elected position, number one. Does not work for the mayor. Number two, the work is very different in terms of the various initiatives and projects and actually the general size of the office, which is, even the smallest department is twice the size of the clerk's office. And I agree that the clerk sets budgets and reviews payrolls, but so do divisions of public works, for instance. So for instance, the Division of Animal Care and Control does the same. So given that, I determined that I found it lacking in terms of the equivalency of departments.
Clerk Bolden then offered a final comment, criticizing the council's discussion on the resolution and acknowledging the awkwardness of the situation.
This is awkward and embarrassing and difficult to be talking about money in such a public way. And so, sitting back in this, I will say thank you for those who were advocating for a higher salary overall. It is a department head. There's nobody else who runs the department except for the city clerk. I think there's a vast difference between asking about what things are required for a position when realistically anybody who comes into the clerk's role knows there's a learning curve that you have to engage in rather rapidly. It is helpful to have experience beforehand, which is required of other department heads. It is helpful to have a higher education than just that of a college degree. A law degree has been enormously helpful. It is helpful to have working knowledge of budgeting and other things. Yes, there are other initiatives that come other departments, but they are driven by a directive. I'd be happy to do a whole bunch of other initiatives through the clerk's office, but I'm also somewhat limited by code and by council. And last, I would like to remind you all that the Office of the City Clerk in Bloomington attends several more hours of meetings than our counterparts and produces much more extensive records.
The council voted 5-4 in favor of the amendment to the resolution limiting the salary to $87,000 as opposed to the original proposal of $104,000. As for the resolution itself, the council voted 7-2 in favor of the resolution as amended. At their meeting on September 6th, the Monroe County Commissioners revisited the Lake Lemon Marina rezone request. Senior Planner Drew Myers shared the Plan Commission's positive recommendation and gave background on the petition.
On June 20th, 2023, the Plan Commission made a positive recommendation to approve this petition with a vote of 8-0 with the following condition: that a petitioner contract a Indiana licensed engineer to prove that site distance can be met and approved by the Monroe County Highway Department. This information will be provided before the petition is heard by the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. So we heard this last week. This petition is for the Lake Lemon Marina rezone. They are petitioning to remove a condition of approval from a rezone petition that was approved in 2007. And within that rezone, there was a condition of approval that no new driveway cuts be established off of East North Shore Drive, and that the access be derived all through a shared driveway that provides access to the marina, as well as these additional lots that were created under that rezone 2007, as well as some existing lots as well.
Myers shared the petitioner's plans if the commissioners approved the rezone request.
So if approved by the county commissioners, petitioner intends to apply for a major subdivision preliminary plat amendment with a sidewalk waiver to remove the requirement of constructing a sidewalk, as well as remove that condition of approval for the driveway cut. Petitioner intends to submit a commercial site plan amendment, as well as possible design standards variances to adjust some various aspects of the commercial site, like paving, parking, landscaping. The first step in this process is the driveway condition. And it is staff's understanding that the driveway condition is conditioned in both the rezone as well as the preliminary plat that came right after the approval of the 2007 rezone.
County Highway Engineer Paul Satterley shared his review of the proposed driveway. He said that the engineering on the roadway was fine. However, he still would not recommend the commissioners approve the driveway at this location.
I took a look at the site distance analysis, and they are correct in terms of the required site distance of 335 feet for a minor collector, 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. The driver's eye, the horizontal, I comment on the horizontal site distance as they show in the drawing. We typically, the 15 feet, 10 to 15 feet from the edge of pavement is correct for the driver's location. And then we go to the center of the lane of the roadway that's coming towards the driveway there. So the basic geometry shown there in the horizontal view is okay. When we do our analysis for an intersection or driveway, we don't like to leave the pavement because there's no guarantee that vegetation will always be maintained, always be cut to the proper height. So we typically don't go outside that edge of pavement. So I do the same thing on intersections when we design roadways. So that gives me some pause in terms of the ability to maintain that line of sight. And also, we like to look at the vertical profile because of the, you got the hill there. The driver's eye is 3.5 feet. The object height is 2 feet. And if you're looking up the road, you want to make sure whatever is between the driver and the vehicle oncoming is clearly visible, the entire time it's starts at that 335 feet. So that's one thing that's missing that we'd like to see in addition, but based on the horizontal sight distance cutting across on the inside of the curb, I would not recommend approval of this driveway at this location.
Commissioner Julie Thomas shared her perspective on the zoning amendment request.
A rezone and planning petition was brought in 2007, and everything was settled then. And since that time, 16 years, it hasn't been followed. And rather than being grateful for the fact that it hasn't been followed and there hasn't been an issue, it's being put forward that somehow this is a precedent, and it's not. The 2007, to me, the decision was the decision. I wasn't part of it, but I support that decision that was originally made. So I feel that this is a question of Highway Department and acknowledging their abilities and right to make an assessment of site distance, which is in the condition, and they did not meet that condition. And second, it is, for me, we're being asked to affirm a decision that's already been made, and that's not our role here. So I am going to be a no vote on this one.
The two commissioners present at the meeting voted unanimously to decline the rezone request. And that is all for CATSweek. Thank you for joining us. For CATS and WFHB, I'm Annalise Poorman.